chiropractic. I would like to promote that somewhat tonight.
Yep.
Okay.
We just went through this switch from what I would consider traditional practice to the neurologically based style of practice, which I'd love to spend some time on that.
Just letting you guys know we are live. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Well, hello, everybody.
We're not going to officially start till 9, but I wouldn't use any bad language about Brett.
Oh,
story of my life. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here with Facebook, but
Just find my live videos here.
how's the family, Tom? Everybody good?
yes, they are.
How's the state of Michigan?
State of Michigan, like I was telling Rick, we're having a great summer. We're
Your governor's out of her mind, but
well, a lot of these governors are out of their minds.
yeah.
We're back to doing just about everything except you can't go to a gym. You
Yeah,
can't go to a movie theater.
Okay. Are you allowed to canoe? I just want to make sure you guys canoeing and boating is okay there.
Yeah, sure.
Just you
I
can't
knew for a
find
while there was you could canoe, but you couldn't go into a 2-man boat or couldn't
Yeah.
operate a motorboat, but you could
Exactly.
use oars. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, New York is a
Figure
whole
out.
shit show in and of itself, and now
Right.
Florida's become even worse. So everyone's got.
But we can go to restaurants and we can get our hair cut.
Okay,
There you go.
we just.
Yeah, I considered those. I learned during the
Dentures.
lockdown, my 3 favorite things were going to restaurants, getting my hair cut,
Right.
and touching my face.
Right. That's crazy.
The chiropractors were never closed down in Michigan. We were allowed to stay open, and yet the dentists and the MDs, they were closed down.
Yep.
Dentists were shut
It
down
was
a long
New
time.
York. Yeah, New
I
York.
don't know
In the
how many
beginning,
of
New
your
York
docs
was terrible, and then it slowly got better. So it's definitely been a lot better.
Yeah, I hear New York they have quite the governor too.
Interesting for sure. But I mean, listen, you could argue with the guy, but at least our cases and deaths are way, way down.
Well, good.
On a positive anyway.
Yes.
If that's the one positive.
All right.
How we doing, Rick? I can't. I don't know what's going on my Facebook.
I'm live. We're sharing.
Is anybody on?
I'm a technological wizard. It's not even fair to the ordinary people. All right, we're good.
I don't see. I don't know why I can't get on.
This. Here we go. All right. So we'll give it a couple minutes, get some people to jump on, and we will discuss the world.
I got these.
Is this, Tom, is this the longest you've gone without traveling?
Well, it's pretty close. We finally did travel last week,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the first time we traveled on an airplane since March.
Yeah.
We went Delta Airlines. The plane was not even half full. Everybody had to wear a mask.
This was business or vacation?
It was business. I went to a life board meeting.
You did.
We also took my daughter down there for Life Leadership Weekend because she wants to look into being a chiropractor. So that was
Nice. How
a
old is
nice
she?
introduction. She's 16.
16.
Just letting you know, Larry just texted, hey, Tom, teach these guys what it's all about. So you got to have a little Larry in your life on a Tuesday. He's always watching, Big Larry.
Tell Larry I love him and I miss him.
Absolutely. Well, come wintertime, you'll come down, you'll play some golf with us. You'll come down to the nice warmth.
I love going down there. We go down to Palm Beach County in the winter. We go to PGA, or sometimes we'll go to Singer Island, or lots of fun places there. Jupiter.
It's just an hour north of me.
Right.
Patrick Smith in the house. Love it. Love me a little Smitty from Tallahassee. Speaking of golf, great golf swing, Patrick Smith. All right, so we'll wait 2 more minutes. We'll get started on time.
I'm not sure. Rick, do you see me as logged in on Facebook or no, separately?
I have no idea how to check that.
Doesn't say anything about watching, does it? As one of the names?
No, it doesn't see you as joined.
Yeah, I can't do it from my phone for some reason.
All right. All righty. All right, we ready to roll, guys?
Yeah.
All right, 9 o'clock sharp. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Rick and Brett on Tuesday Night Live with Chiro Destiny. Thanks for joining us. We have an amazing guest with us tonight, an absolute superstar in chiropractic. I would venture to guess that nobody doesn't know Tom Klapp, one of our mentors, someone we've been following our entire career, someone who gets it, gets the big idea, fearless leader, fearless communicator. Tom, thanks so much for joining us. I know it's been a crazy couple of months, but we really do appreciate you coming in and sharing some of the wisdom.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate an opportunity to catch up with you guys and see what you've been up to and share a little bit of what I've been up to.
Love it.
I'm going to jump in for a second, Tom, because you and I go back many years. Your wife is Kim Klapp, who's a huge chiropractic advocate, and she runs her own CA program, runs your office and so forth. And about you, I mean, huge practice, huge philosophically subluxation-based practice. We're going to get into a little tonight about your pivot and some of the things you're focusing on now. But one of the things I want to also touch upon is what you've done for the profession. A lot of people don't know this, but your work behind the scenes to unite the state of Michigan between, on a political level, with all the, I don't know if there's 2 or 3 organizations at one point in Michigan. You somehow were the one guy who spearheaded the whole thing. I'm in New York, and we still can't figure this out. You did it in a matter of time. You united all the organizations together as one unit, and you guys, as a result of that, became such a strong force and started to make some significant political insurance changes in that state, which has been phenomenal. So can you just touch upon a little bit that from a leadership point of view, and then we want to get into some of the clinical stuff that you're doing now, because you're one of the leaders in our profession, as far as I'm concerned, one of the unsung heroes in our profession. And I think also one of the guys that helped to save Life U when they went through all their challenges about 15 years ago as well. So can you touch upon that a little bit?
Well, regarding the unification of Michigan, I learned a whole lot. And the main thing I learned was that you should never stop trying to make it happen. And when you get the right people on the bus, things will come together. So my biggest takeaway from my experience there was, if you continue to move in the direction that you want to go and you don't give it up and you don't quit, things eventually will begin to come around, and you'll put the right people in the right room, and it will happen. And yes, I did go to New York, and I'm still asking your guys, how come you're not together yet?
Unbelievable.
And you know what they always say? They always tell me the same thing. Well, there's just a couple people who are in the way, won't let it happen. Well, sometimes the good of the many outweigh the ego of the few, but it's up to the many to exert their influence, if you will. So yeah, and since that merger now is 10 years old this year. Wow. And we have created a monster. We've got a terrific state association. We have a lot of influence. We've been able to pass legislation that we were never able to pass prior to the merger. So anybody watching this, believe me that this profession needs to be united, and we need to give up all these petty turf wars and what I call philosophical battles. And I think some of the things I'm going to say tonight will help move us in that direction.
Do you believe, having said that on a state level and having done it, I should say, do you believe in your heart of hearts that we really can get this done, let's say, between the two big organizations, the ICA and the ACA, where we can really unite? Because we seem so far apart, with one organization saying one thing and one organization focusing on, you know, the subluxation and what it stands for, and the other organization saying it doesn't exist and going down more of a medical model and evidence-based, and pros and cons to both. Do you think in this lifetime we can really get it done? And what do you think it's going to take to unite the profession? Because that's,
You know, that's really
a daunting task.
That is the question.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is my answer.
The answer.
My answer.
Everybody's listening. It's like, yeah, fine. For those that remember.
If I had a magic wand, but I don't. Well, right now, you may or may not have heard about what's going on, but last November, the Congress of Chiropractic State Associations brought a group of people together, and they said, we're going to create a plan for this profession. We're going to create a strategic plan. We're going to include everybody. We're going to bring all the stakeholders in. We're talking about the state associations, the national associations, the colleges, the individual doctors, the business partners, our vendors, folks like you, you know, our coaches, our people who make a living and gain benefit from dealing with chiropractors. And we're going to create a strategic plan. And we're going to allow everybody to buy in. And if you opt out, it's kind of like what they do in the Amish community, that you'll get shunned if you don't go along with the program. Yeah. So I'm not sure how all that ultimately is going to work. But that
I'm just kidding.
We've already tried that. So there is an effort going on, and I'm very optimistic, because I think everyone is coming around to the understanding that we can't keep doing what we've been doing, or else we're going to keep getting what we've been getting.
You know, you and I were talking briefly before we went live, just about the sort of state of affairs of, I mean, I guess we're all in practice. Brett and I are in practice. I'm 25 years. I think Brett's 28 years. The kids coming out of school. And it just seems to be that the chiropractic adjustment has gone by the wayside. And when I said that, your eyes lit up. So, you know, how do you feel about that? Where isn't that the one thing that separates us and pulls us apart from every other profession? And yet it seems like it's a secondary thought that these kids are graduating really with very little emphasis or skill set compared to what we focused on when we graduated.
Well, that leads me into this whole conversation of neurologically based chiropractic, because I know you promoted that when
absolutely,
when you put the promos out on this conversation. But you know, for 120 years, we know chiropractic is phenomenal. We know it works. We know sick people get well when they get chiropractic care. But we had a problem. We didn't understand how it worked. So we came up with theories. We came up with the subluxation theory. It's a good theory, but we were never able to absolutely prove that a subluxation caused nerve interference, that a hard bone could affect and could impact a soft nerve. We could not prove that. We came up with a philosophy, you know, the idea of innate intelligence. It's a great explanation of how chiropractic works, but it's not scientific. So fast forward till about 2005. And I know a lot of people have heard of Dr. Heidi Havik, but she started conducting research on this very question. How is it that chiropractic works? And so she got into this, and she started learning that chiropractic works by changing the brain. And how do you change the brain? It's not with chemistry. like the medics have been doing for eons of time. It's not with physical therapy. It's not with surgery. The way chiropractic works, and also I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Richard Barwell for this as well, because they kind of arrived at this conclusion simultaneously, as science often works, but they concluded that when you give an adjustment, it changes the brainwave frequencies of the brain. It causes the brain to normalize. It causes the brain to reconnect with the nervous system and thus with the body at the level of the subluxation. It causes, the adjustment causes the neuroplasticity of the brain to improve, meaning it can change itself, it can rewire itself, it can balance itself, it can improve its own function, and it can heal from all of the stress-induced damage that traumas, toxins, and thoughts cause. Now that's kind of ironic because D.D. Palmer taught us that from the very beginning, that the cause of subluxation, the cause of dysfunction were the 3 T's. Now, here's where it got a little different. And this is where the pivot I made happen. When you start understanding how this works, the subluxation then becomes a symptom of brain dysfunction. It is not the cause of physical and physiological dysfunction. However, by adjusting the subluxation, that allows the brain, the nervous system, the body to reconnect with each other. So the subluxation is a critical component of chiropractic care, but it is not the cause of the problem. It's a symptom of brain dysfunction. And by adjusting the subluxation, it makes all these tremendous changes in the brain. And now think of this. You mentioned, Brett, the straights, the conservative doctors, the subluxation-based doctors have one opinion of how to practice. The evidence-based doctors, the symptom treatment-oriented doctors, even the allopathic type doctors. When everyone looks at this model and begins to understand it and begins to embrace it, now we've got, for the first time in 125 years, we have a model of practice to literally unite ourselves around. We've got something and we can prove it. We've got the science now. We've got the research that shows why what we do works and how what we do works. And then, so here's the full implication of that in my thinking is that this takes now the average chiropractor who, whether he or she believes it or not, or admits it or not, almost all chiropractors are focused on pain and symptoms.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine because chiropractic absolutely helps pain and symptoms. But here's the thing. When you begin to understand how this works and you begin to change your patient communication, your patient education, what occurs is that the patient's understanding of what you do changes. They're no longer in your office just because their back hurts or they have a headache or they have a neck pain. Now they understand that why they're in your office is because not just their pain and their symptoms, but their dysfunctions, their digestive problems, their high blood pressure problems, their inability to sleep, their inability to heal, their inability to live a comfortable, calm, happy, healthy, what I would call a parasympathetic life.
How about their immune function, which is on
immune function is the very first thing that improves. Absolutely. So this is what I've been spending my time on lately. And so along this same line, about 3 or 4 years ago now, myself and a bunch of my best friends got together and created One Chiropractic. One Chiropractic is an organization that we decided that we wanted to take on stuff, some projects, things that nobody else was doing, things that aren't getting done that need to get done. And let me just give you a short list here. You'll see what we've been up to. And frankly, I'd love everybody to go to the website and sign up and support us, because
We'll put that on the notes.
All right, make sure Kimberly will put the
We'll
link
post
up.
that.
absolutely. But one of our very first projects was we created onegratefulpatient.org. This is a place where we want all chiropractors to send their patients and their clients to give us their chiropractic story. There's no single repository of testimonials in our entire profession until we created this a couple of years ago. Now we have over 6,000 patient testimonials where they testify about not just neck and back pain, but about all kinds of ailments, diseases, dysfunctions that respond to chiropractic care. So that's one of our greatest accomplishments so far. We've dedicated ourselves to this whole notion of neurologically based chiropractic. So we put out a seminar series. Again, you can go to the website and sign up for this. We have 2 series. We have one series with 49 separate videos where we talk about some aspect or some expert in this field, where we're showing, teaching the doctor what it is, how to implement it, how it works. Our first video series had 49 videos. Our second one had 38. And get this, we had a 60% completion rate on the first series, a 70% completion rate on our second series.
Which is unheard of in chiropractic, because
Unheard
we're
of
notoriously
in all of the internet.
right.
That's
We're
how
great
powerful-
starters and lousy finishers, right?
Exactly. We put on a brain-based, neurologically based chiropractic symposium back in June. It had to be online, of course, but originally we were expecting about 300 people for an in-person event, but we ended up with about 125 virtually, which we were pretty happy with that. But more importantly, we intend to make this an annual event. So next year it'll be Brainwave 2021, and be on the lookout for that information. Another thing that we're into is a lot of people don't know that the military was authorized in 1992 to begin to accept doctors of chiropractic as commissioned officers. In other words, that would have been a new career path for doctors, graduating doctors of chiropractic. However, here it is in 2020, and they still have not implemented that law that was passed in 1992. So one of the projects we have going right now, and we've partnered with about 5 or 6 other state organization and others to hire a lobbyist. And we are getting together with the Trump administration, who is very sympathetic with this, by the way. And we believe that the Trump administration and his chief of staff, we've been talking to Mark Meadows, who's his new chief of staff. We believe that this will actually get done and get implemented by the election. So keep your eye open for that. That'll be some of the biggest news in our entire history if we can make that happen. So we got other things going, but those are the highlights.
Tell us more about this One Chiropractic movement. Who are some of the people involved, and if someone wanted to get involved, what's the benefit of that? Just it's to learn more about it, education, bring it into the practice, or what else would you say?
Our founders are myself, Baron Hoig, who's our executive director, Guy Reekman, Chuck Ribley, Jerry Klum, Bill Esteb. We have, can't think of all of them right now, but we started out with 10.
Okay.
And we had 10 people of that similar stature. And so our whole, again, our idea was to start bringing these ideas to the profession. And frankly, what we want to do is we want to create one chiropractic. In other words, this unification concept that we're talking about.
Those unification.
We want to do things and do projects that we're not making a frontal assault on the ICA and ACA and, holding a knife to their throat and making them merge. That's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is create an impact by showing what can be done when people get together and cooperate for the good of the profession, instead of, staking out their small, little neighborhoods in the profession, if you will. So yes, you can go to onechiropractic.org. You can be a partner. If you could join for $33 a month, and in return you can get a private link from your website to One Grateful Patient. We're also putting together a new project where we're going to try to put together new graduate doctors with doctors who are looking for associates. So that's another one of our upcoming projects that I think will be very successful. So again, if you remember, you can take part in that situation. And so, yeah, we encourage you to look it up, and you'll see we're doing a lot of great stuff.
So
I want to just go in one other direction real quickly, just based off of what you had said, because you've been in practice long enough where, as you said, you really just taught the subluxation as your patient education, as your report of findings, and it led to super success in chiropractic practice for all these years. And you're still in practice part-time with a couple of associates, as you've said. And at some point you pivoted and started to really educate your patients on the neurology to create a better, deeper understanding, to create a sort of a lifetime patient. With chiros that are maybe not as good of an educator as you've been, is there any way you were able to sort of break it down and make it teachable or make it palatable for some of these docs to take some of the concepts and teach it to their patients?
Yes. So you see, I just changed my background.
I saw that.
Kim and I got together and we said, we did a lot of work. We had to make a lot of changes. The first change is up here, but that's just the beginning, because once you make this change, then you begin to realize that there are a lot of things you have to change and implement to make this change positive in your office. So the first thing I had to do personally was learn the newest information on what neurologically based chiropractic was, how it was different, and that kind of thing. Then I had to acquire some new equipment. I personally believe that the Neuro Infinity, Dr. Barwell's instrument, is probably the premier instrument when it comes to doing a proper exam for this sort of practice. We had to train our staff on the equipment. We had to train our doctors on reading the printouts and interpreting the examination. And then, of course, we had to learn how to communicate all this to our patients. Another thing that I spent a lot of time on, and Kim and I did this together, of course, we created day 1 and day 2 videos. So we got together, we created a 7-minute day 1 video where we introduced the patient to a form of chiropractic where we don't even talk about pain. What we do is we talk about how in 4 weeks from now, not only can you be out of pain, but you can have more energy. You'll sleep better. You'll digest your food better. You'll have, you'll feel more calm and relaxed. All the things that we know happens under, real chiropractic care.
Right.
And then in the second, we talk about how the examination is different too in that day 1 video. Then in day 2, we go on to tell them how in 12 months from now, not 12 weeks or 12 visits, but 12 months from now, how it can change their life. And we go through all the ways that 12 months of this kind of care can change your life. And at this point, we're talking about people getting off drugs. We're talking about people getting rid of their diabetes and all kinds of things. Now, we don't say that in a way that we're making promises, that we're making representations that we can do this. What we're saying is that when you follow the lifestyle recommendations and you get the care that we're going to recommend, a whole new experience of your health opens up for you. And it involves making different choices. So we had to create all this. We even created new care plans because we changed our recommendations. We even made some new nutritional recommendations that we weren't making before. Nutritional recommendations, for example, that more effectively support the brain and the nervous system. So what I would recommend is anyone who's interested in this, in making this change, go look up Kim's website. It's up on the screen. And in the next 3 months, August, September, and October webinars, we're going to be teaching the first visit, day 1. The second visit is in September. That's day 2. October, we're going to talk about financial consultations. And I can tell you that we just switched over in February, just before COVID took over the world. But already this year, we have signed up more care plans, and here it is July, than we did in all of 2019. And that's on a lower volume of new patients due to the virus. So just from the changes that we made, and I'm not saying we weren't effective before, we were very effective before, but with how we're communicating, how we're presenting this new version of chiropractic, this new, in what I believe is a more factual, more accurate, more truthful version of what we do and how we do it, the patients are definitely vibrating with it, and they're getting it. So check that out. And as a bonus, I'm going to add to the September ACE program an implementation guide that I'm personally working on that will be directed especially for the doctor, so that he or she can put this into practice and make it work like we have.
Fabulous. And I know, many of the years, one thing that I've always admired about you was your conviction, your certainty about chiropractic, your passion about chiropractic, not in a rah-rah screaming kind of way, like some chiropractors are, it's their natural personality, but more of a driver analytical personality, which is who you are. And I think for you, what I'm hearing from you is, as you became more certain from the scientific community, right, that got you fired up and passionate and excited again about the new chiropractic and brain-based chiropractic and the neuroplasticity of the brain. And as a result of that, you've done your research, you've done your homework, and now you're starting to attract patients who align with that vision. And there are a lot more people out there who want and need it, who may not know that. But when you're wishy-washy, when you're unsure what to say to a patient, what to recommend to a patient, because as we're coaching chiropractors that are coming on board with us, one of the questions we get asked is, aside from helping them with new patients, it's also is how to make the proper recommendations, when to reduce patients down, when are they ready for the next phase of care, why do we recommend 12 months of care, how do you structure the proper care plan in order to support that, and how do you recommend lifetime wellness care? And I think that's so important when you have the certainty and you know what to say and when to say that. Everything else kind of falls into place. And that's what I'm hearing from you. And I think that's why you've been always successful and why you're becoming even more successful. And as Rick and I and our other coaches for Chiro Destiny, as we coach a lot of these chiropractors, this is what we help chiropractors with, exactly that. And I think that as people understand, you pointed to your brain before and you said, here's where success really lies. And we've always said that 90% of success is headspace. It always starts there, but you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your homework, and you've got to do your own research into what it is that ignites and fuels your own passion for this, and then bringing that into your practice.
I could not agree with what you said more. I was right on.
Yeah. And you have, again, you were able to sort of do this untidy research within your own clinic, your associates, you make this pivot, you bring everybody on board, and you brought in something interesting. How many years in practice are you?
40.
So 40 years in practice, and you still work with your team and train your staff.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
We have docs that are 6 months in and like, yeah, I taught them already. Like, what?
And get mad at them when they don't know it.
Right. What do you mean you don't know? So, or they hand them a book and say, here, learn it.
Right.
Right. So the fact is you're still investing in your own education, bringing back what you've learned, being a fearless implementer and saying, okay, I did this for 25 years one way, and that was great for then. But if you don't adapt, you perish. And you've got to get everybody on the same page. You've got to get the didactics and the systems and the procedures down. So you were willing to invest time, which we see a lot of chiros would rather, have balance in their life and all that stuff. You're investing money back in, Neuro Infinity, other equipment, seminars, whatever, travel, whatever it takes. So if you're willing, even 40 years in, to invest time, energy, money, resources, whatever that be, to continue to grow, that's what leads to long level success. So when we have chiros, whether they're members of Chiro Destiny yet or not, they say, well, how do I blank? Well, here's the answer. You take your passion and you never stop learning, and you never stop implementing, and you never stop tweaking, because the world continues to evolve. And one of the business principles is you have to reinvent yourself every 7 years from a business standpoint. And I know, like you said, 40 years, I'm sure you could take us back to the beginning, and then you brought in some new equipment and you learned something else and you went to more seminars. And this is the latest, evolution for you.
That is absolutely right. The changes that have happened in this profession in my lifetime in chiropractic are amazing, but they're going to be more amazing. It's going to change more. It's going to change faster. So my recommendation to anybody watching this is to fasten your seat belt, put your track shoes on, and get ready to rock and roll, because we haven't seen anything yet in terms of the potential of this profession to succeed and to change the world.
So we call that chiropractic plasticity.
Absolutely.
So where do you see the profession, let's say, in the next 10 to 15 years?
Okay. I'm going to assume, because I believe we're ready for this. We're going to find a way to unify our profession. I don't know what that looks like in the details, but I believe that we're going to find a way, and we're going to create a plan. Most chiropractors are aware of the physical therapies profession, their strategic plan, that they went out and they did some really good stuff. Now, I believe we've got the potential to equal or exceed what they've been able to do, because what we have is far more important, far more effective, and it's far more free. We don't have the medical profession with their boot on our neck like they do, right? So if we can create a plan, and if we can unify on any basis at all, maybe it's neurologically based chiropractic, I don't know, but whatever we can find to unite around. Here, you can see what's happening right now in the medical profession. Trump today just talked about how he's just cutting all the pharmaceutical prices, right? Well, that's okay, except he's cutting the prices on a product that is obsolete. People are getting the understanding that the more drugs they take, the faster they step into the grave. We don't have that problem. We understand that the more chiropractic care you get, the longer you're going to live, the better you're going to function, the happier you're going to be. So if we can unify and get that message to the world, I don't know who could stop us.
So what do you say to the chiropractic part of our profession that says we don't really affect immune function, or we can't really change immune function? I mean, I hear that quite, or we can't save that, or, especially during this pandemic, people need us now more than ever. We know that to be true, especially what's happening in the neurological world and brain-based chiropractic for sure. What do you say to them, and what can they do to learn about that so they can implement that as well with the same conviction and certainty?
I would respectfully tell them that they are ignorant.
Right.
They're not looking at the facts. They're not looking at the research. They're buying into a narrative which is being pushed by certain elements of our profession that want to take us down the exact wrong path. And the faster we get out of that narrative and the faster we reject it, the closer we're going to be to this unification that I'm talking about. So anybody who doesn't believe chiropractic can improve immune function or any function. And that's the key. Chiropractic improves brain function, which improves all functions of the body. That's what all the research is saying. And it's not even chiropractic research. There's brain researchers out there that know this is true. The psychologists are the ones who really led Barwell to look into the brainwave connection to chiropractic. They found out that if they could change the brainwaves, they could effect healing in their patients. The problem is it took 37 neurofeedback sessions to have the effect that one chiropractic adjustment had on the brain. And when they found that out, they were shocked at how powerful chiropractic was. These people were, taking like the long, slow, they're like trying to walk from New York to California when chiropractic could fly on a jet. They were shocked.
Are there, I'm sure there are resources where those who want to learn more about this or some of the research and what is going on is specific to chiropractic, what resources can we give them to go and check out?
I would say Dr. Barwell's book. His book is, let's see, what's wrong with your, or why we get sick and how to fix it. That's it.
Okay.
You can get it on Amazon. Why we get sick and how your brain can fix it. So that's one resource. Heidi Havik has a book, Reality Check.
Yep.
Great.
He also has she has a website where you can actually look at all of her research.
Right.
You can support her. I would recommend signing up and sending her, $20-30 a month, because she's doing great work. Heidi has been published in all the journals that we always wanted to be published in, but we could never get in.
She found a way.
So that's why she is such a rock star in our profession, because not only is she doing the right research, she's being published in the right places.
Right.
Obviously, our Brainwave Symposium, One Chiropractic, go on to our website, onechiropractic.org, click the little hamburger thing in the upper right corner, and you'll see you'll see a whole menu of things. But one of those items is neurologically based chiropractic, and you can sign up for those 2 video series. A tremendous resource. In fact, there's no resource like it. I don't know any place that has more information about this brand of practice than our onechiropractic.org.
So those videos have research and resources, and
They got all kinds of stuff. Heidi has a series. Dr. Rob Scott, president of Life University, is talking about how Life is now going in that direction. We also have research at Life that's kind of tracking with Heidi Havik's research. We have a great researcher at Life named Stephanie Sullivan. She's going to be an up and coming research rock star in our profession before long because of the work she's doing.
and these are on the
So
video.
this is not just a fad. This is not a fly by night idea that'll come and go. This thing is going to literally shake our profession down to the foundation. And I believe it is the future.
I love it. Well, in the interest of time, it's always first of all fun just to reconnect. We haven't seen each other in a while because we haven't been on the road together. Unfortunately, the world changed a little bit. But my takeaway, reading between the lines, is here you are, a guy that does not have to work anymore, right? But you're not just in it. You're in it because you love it. You're in it because it's part of your bloodstream, and you're still looking for ways to evolve the profession, not just your practice. You're looking for ways to give back. You're looking for ways to contribute. You're looking for ways to contribute to the individual chiropractor finding more success in this profession. And what Brett and I continuously look into TV screens and on seminar stages and implore and beg chiropractors, if you're not having an amazing experience being a chiropractor, please join us. Please call us. Please let us help you. And you're a living, breathing example, because here you just spoke for 38 minutes and all you did was talk about how your practice was growing as successful as it's ever been, the things you're excited about, the things you're contributing, your time, energy, resources. Not one time did you mention COVID. Not one time did you mention the pandemic. Not one time did you get limited by anything. You didn't mention where you went to school or your political state organizations or anything like that. This is about taking your passion and fearlessly, constantly looking for ways to achieve success for yourself along the way and bring other chiropractors along with you. That's why we love you.
Well, that's why I love you guys, because I know we are definitely kindred spirits. I know that we have similar missions. You know, it's just we all find different ways to accomplish our mission. And I really appreciate what you guys do. And I appreciate you both personally. I know you both very well, and I love you both very much. And I can't wait to be in a room physically with you to give you a hug.
You got it.
We'll definitely have you to one of our seminars in person without a doubt. You've been one of our mentors over the years. We consider you one of the top leaders in our profession for what you've done on the state level, national level, and just your whole, as Rick said, your concept of what you've been doing, especially recently. It's a breath of fresh air to see someone still in it and still getting it done. It's actually amazing to me. And I think since we coach a lot of chiropractors, why we do these Tuesday night lives is to bring the profession, the cutting edge leaders who are getting it done, not just talking about change, but actually making change or helping to create change within the profession from an apolitical point of view, so to speak, trying to unite, not tear apart, which I think is the best way to do it. So on behalf of myself and Rick and Chiro Destiny and our membership and the chiropractic profession, thank you so much for giving me your time today. Thank you so much for giving your time to our profession. Because again, some people know your name, people know you, but I don't think people really can appreciate what you're doing behind the scenes to get it done. And I know everything that you're doing, if we follow you to the T, that's why we were excited to have you on tonight. And I think it's pretty powerful stuff. And I hope more people will get involved with One Chiropractic and start to pivot towards brain-based and neurologically based chiropractic, because I think that's the model, as you said, that will unite this profession, which it dearly needs, because both camps have pros and cons, but together, man, what a force to be reckoned with as a profession. Think about what we could do as a united profession. Change the world, as you said. I mean, it's
Change the world, and there's no limit.
And there is no limit. It's exactly
There's
right.
no limit.
And so many people need what we have to offer. I just think that chiropractors unfortunately forget that, and they get caught up in their own little world, their own little microcosm. So I hope tonight for the chiropractors that we're on, that you can see that there's a bigger world out there to be had. Help us in that mission. Help Tom and Chiro Destiny in the mission of bringing this profession together, one chiropractor at a time, one patient at a time. But if you stick to this mission, there's nothing we can't do and there's nothing we can't affect. So again, on behalf of everybody, and Larry too, because I know you're tight with Larry, and I know
Hi, Larry.
and I know he's been in the game and also trying to help change the profession and unite it as well. So on behalf of everybody, thank you so much for your time tonight.
My pleasure, guys.
We look forward to connecting again soon, buddy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So good night, everybody.
Thanks so
Enjoy.
much. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.